welcome to another episode of the Mox Life Show. We have a special episode today because right now we are in quarantine. This is, for us in California, this is about week 4 or so, maybe even 5. And I had to bring these guys on because they're so cool, and we're all about here at Mox Life coming up with business concepts and ideas that adapt to what's going on, and these guys have done it. I'm here with Tyler Cohen and Jimmy. Jimmy, what's your last name?
My last name is Parento. It's French.
French, Parento. And they are from the Quarantined Bachelor. They came up with the show, obviously based loosely on the Bachelor show, which is on cable TV, and they're on Instagram. So we are going to talk to them about what they have going on. So welcome to the show, you guys.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah. Okay, so just kind of give us a synopsis of your show and what you guys have going on.
Sure, Tyler, you can handle that.
Sounds good. So our show is currently called The Quarantine Bachelor. We host basically a main candidate every week or so with 5 potential matches for the quarantine. And we basically show off their introductions, their backgrounds, and then showcase them all going on dates. And over the course of the season, we narrow the group down from 5 to 3, and then eventually to select 1 to be the quarantine couple at the end of our show. And that's our show. We do every date via Zoom, and we edit them down to just the highlights so we can show off all of the romantic connection that's going on between our person of honor and each of the contestants every season.
Okay, so I have to ask you, how did this all come up? Were you guys drinking? What happened to make you guys think, you know what, I have a great idea?
Sure, I can.
Go ahead, Tyler.
Okay, so I would say the idea for the show started actually when I was living in New York. I was on a live dating show, and I thought it was so much fun that when I moved to San Francisco, I wanted to start a similar dating show, and spoke with Jimmy about interest in that once we met at our new job. And Jimmy was all about the idea. He's a dating show connoisseur of sorts, and we decided to start a live dating show in San Francisco and went through all the hoops to get it started for multiple one-night events where dates happen and unfold live on stage. And right before we were about to launch, the quarantine hit. And I thought that we weren't going to be able to do anything for a long time. And Jimmy called me with the idea that we could put our show onto Instagram and actually keep moving forward. So that was where this whole concept began. I don't know if you want to add anything, Jimmy.
So you guys ended up planning this prior to the quarantine, and this was going to be in real time, real life with people in person.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Nice.
So Jimmy, tell me your role. I know you guys both met at Yelp. You guys are both employees at Yelp in San Francisco.
Yep.
Jimmy, what's your role there? How did you are you a business guy? What's the deal? How did you come up with such a great pivot?
So Tyler and I are both on the business operations and strategy team. So both of us are both relatively business guys. I think Tyler's a little more calculated and operational than I am, and I think I'm a little bit more creative and kind of out there. So I think that's kind of where this came from. I'm not sure if he would agree with that, but
I do.
I guess
that makes sense.
Very cool. So I love the little things that you guys do on the show, such as what they do instead of a rose when the person gets, I guess, picked to stay on. Is that what's the term that you guys use?
Yeah, picked or selected. That's
selected.
fine.
I think selected is a little bit nicer. They get a roll of toilet paper, which is so needed right now. So I love that. But what else? So, how did you guys pick these people? How did you get the Bachelorettes and the Bachelor to come on the show?
Yeah. So I think when we first started, so I called Tyler and I was like, hey, we should still do something even though we technically can't do our show right now and everything we had lined up we can't really do. And so we created an Instagram page. We made a post and one of our friends of friends shared it. And at that time we had 40 followers. And a couple hours later we got a message from a girl in Canada requesting to be on our show. And we had like one post up, like with a typed text message I sent to Tyler saying, hey, here's what I think the show should be. And she's like, hey, I would love to be on the show. And I called Tyler. I'm like, what the heck? People actually want to do this show like so quickly. So from there, we started posting more about it, started getting some traction, gained like 100 or so followers our first day. And my former manager saw that I was doing it and asked me if he could be on the show. And so we made him the Bachelor, post some videos of him. And then after I post some videos, or repost some videos of him, the applications started rolling in. And so then we started selecting contestants and started going from there. So that's kind of the start.
See,
Oh my gosh, so
that's
cool.
cool. So now I have to jump in and ask about the marketing aspect of that. It might be a little soon, but I want to pinpoint on that, because that's the important part. Is you took your idea, you quickly pivoted, didn't really know what was going to happen with it, and just let it unfold, and you quickly went from 40 followers up from there. So kind of talk a little bit about like the marketing strategy that you had there, and maybe it wasn't really a strategy, it was just, well, let's just post, but kind of talk a little bit more about that, because I think that's really crucial for people to know.
Yeah, so I think for us, the crucial thing from going from 40 to like over 5,000 where we're at now was proving that we're a real site and actually, or a real page, and doing what we said we're going to do and doing it authentically and make people feel comfortable. So a lot of it was like not only creating the post, but just like having live videos of Tyler and I, even though like 5 people are watching or 6 people are watching, they know that we're authentic and we're doing what we say we're going to do, and we're going to try to be genuine about it. And then from there, that actually got people more interested, I think. So it started, even though we still had a smaller number of followers, they started to be more engaged and more bought into what we were doing. And then they started to be kind of our champions, if you will, and started to bring more people onto the page. So that was kind of the start.
Was that it? Did you guys do anything else? Did you send out like a press release to anyone, or was this just totally simply posting on social media?
Yeah, I mean, Tyler could also jump in. I guess I'll answer this the first half. We did have a couple of press releases. So we had a story on SF Gate that ended up Demi Lovato shared on her story. So we definitely had a lot of help along the way. And like people thought it was a really cool idea and thought it was fun. And I think that has really, really helped us. But a lot of our marketing strategy was to post, be authentic, and then get the content in front of people who potentially care about it. And so it's people who've watched other dating shows. So either through us sharing it, our friends sharing it through Facebook, Reddit, other pages. That's kind of how it started. And then from there, once we started getting press, it started to snowball somewhat.
Okay. Tyler, you have anything to add there? That's
Yeah,
important.
sure. That's a perfect overview of kind of what's happened. I would say from an operational point of view, we look to post at least a couple things every day. Make sure our story is constantly has content on it, so that our page is active all the time, because I think that's really important to keeping people feeling that their follow is worthwhile when they give it to us. Making sure that we're on top of their feed and like giving them something that they actually want to watch. I mean, everyone's at home right now. We're competing with Netflix, the entire array of every show that's online. We need to make sure that there's enough coming out on our page to warrant the attention. And so I think we just keep having those touch points, make sure that we're scheduling posts every day so that our content just keeps pumping out.
You guys have done a phenomenal job. Go ahead, Jimmy.
Yeah, I'm just going to say the idea with the conversion. So Tyler has made some posts that have really been interesting for our audience to watch. So like when we've had the media come out, we try to make it right around the same time we have a role ceremony, which is like our most engaging content, if you will. So I think that's really helped is Tyler putting really engaging content at the same time we're having potential pieces come out or stories shared.
Definitely. Yeah. And that's the beauty of social media. And I'm curious, why did you guys choose Instagram over any of the other platforms?
Yeah, I mean, I think that Instagram just seemed like a place to be able to gain a following relatively quickly with like people that we knew. So like we could just have some people share it out and people can see that the page is authentic. That being said, I don't know if like that is personally the best, but I think it was an easy way to gain our first 100 followers through people that we knew and then like allow that to like snowball on itself. I think it's harder to
Yeah.
get recognized in other ways. So um,
Yeah, and
So
I would add to that as well, like that it's a very collaborative environment. Like people are able to engage very personally on Instagram. They can share things via stories to one another, and I think it's a platform that enables people to kind of spread things that they enjoy much more easily than any other social media at the moment. So I think from that point of view, it made a lot of sense. We also are both pretty active on Instagram ourselves, so we think we know the platform.
That's awesome. Yeah, and that's the thing. It's go where you're comfortable and start there.
Yeah.
so what's next? So I know that you guys have wrapped season 1 already in what, 4 weeks? You guys wrapped season 1. Is that right?
And season 2. We wrapped
Oh,
both seasons. Yeah.
talk about getting crap done. Good job.
yeah.
So okay, so season 1, I did watch a lot of season 1, and so you had Richard, who was the Bachelor. I
Yeah.
did not see who won, but don't give it away because people are going to go watch it. And then season 2, you guys did the opposite, right? You had a bachelorette, and then you had the guys that were coming on. Is that right?
Yeah.
That's correct.
Okay, so what's next for season 3?
Yeah. So I think that in season 3 we made a post. It's given us some negative and positive feedback, but we made a post that we're going to be doing our first male looking for male season. So our first same-sex season. So that is potentially what's on the slate. As soon as we posted it, we lost like 100 followers, but I think that the followers who did come and stay, like they really, really like that. So like building a really solid foundation of champions who want to like champion our brand. But that's next.
Yeah. That's awesome.
I have to
I love that you're doing that.
on that
Yeah.
post because that's risky, right? When you post something out there. Well, one, I should back up. It's awesome that you're doing the Q&A, right? You're basically putting it out there for your audience to help you decide versus you just saying, I'm just going to do this.
Right.
That's huge for marketing. And then for you to be open to the positive and negative feedback is huge. And then to also take that risk and to see that this quite possibly could lose some followers. However, it could also gain a lot more followers. And so how did you feel about weighing that? Like, was it just let's just post and see what happens, or did you guys have to really like think about it?
So I would say that decision, it's an interesting decision. We knew that post may deter some people, but in return, the people who stayed would really be in aligned with our vision and our idea for what the show should be. And frankly, if you're leaving because we support things like the same-sex season on our show, I don't know that I'm that worried about you leaving my page. I'm happy that our following, I think Jimmy would agree with this, is very in line with what we believe and like socially and just in general. And I think that all lends itself to being a very like committed following that will lend itself to an even better show.
I think
so. Yeah,
good.
I'm good.
So I think that just following on top of that, I think something that Tyler and I discussed super early on is that we think it's better to have 20 really committed followers than 100 not so committed followers. So I think that's something that we thought very early on and very much have stuck to our guns on, is that we want people who align with our vision and people that are going to champion our brand. Like that for us is how we go from 40 followers to 500 followers to 2,000 followers to 5,000 followers, is by getting people who actually see the way we see it and follow us for who we are and what we're building here. So I think that was like a very big decision that we made and trade-off. We knew that people had different views, and we respect those views, and we understand that they may have different views, but I think that our page is going to take the shape of us, and people who are along for the ride for that, I think, are going to continue to champion it.
And what you're doing is working, because I saw that you guys are starting to get some sponsorships.
Yeah.
Is that right? Talk to us about that. How did they come in, and what's your plan?
Yeah. Tyler, you want to handle that?
Sure. Yeah. So we noticed that, first of all, like Jimmy said earlier, when we had 40 followers and got our first actual application, it was so surprising that we had somebody who wanted to be on the show. We were shocked. And I don't think either of us really saw what this could become, or the fact, let alone that Demi Lovato might take notice of something I'm doing. That's crazy. So we never expected that to fully unravel the way it has. And as it has getting attention from, and had any formal sponsorship agreements, and we haven't made anything off the page, we saw that there's potential to do so. And given both of our situations and the situation in the world right now, we thought it best to commit 100% of our profits for the time being to first responders and essential workers, because, you know, this is ultimately a show that came out of that crisis. And if we can give back to help with it, I think that's, even if it's a minor help, I think it's worthwhile.
And I think even just posting that, you know, because it stood out to me that when I was going through your page and I saw that, like, these are cool guys. These are guys I want to meet and to be involved with. But also, it has the effect of wearing on other people too. So hopefully more people have that same approach with whatever they're able to do. So more power to you.
All right.
Thanks.
So when this is all over, once we cannot be sequestered forever, right? So things will evolve.
Totally.
I believe we'll be able to leave home someday. And what's the plan? Are you guys going to just stay on IGTV, or are you going to go do the stage thing as you had originally planned? What's the rumblings going on over there?
Yeah, I mean, I think Tyler can add on again. I think that's a phenomenal question. I mentioned this in an interview yesterday. We plan on doing this. I plan on doing this until I'm in a retirement home. So at least on the side. But no, we don't know what shape it's going to take. And frankly, we've only been around for like 3 weeks, 3.5, 4 weeks. And so like every day is a new day. And I was telling them, hey, we have a group chat. I just mentioned this yesterday. We have a group chat for some of our top most committed fans. And like we run ideas by them. We ask them what they think. I said, yeah, we've had that for a little while now. I'm like, actually, it's not been that long. It's only been 2 or 3 days. That's like 10% of our page's lifespan is we've had this. So I guess depending on how you look at it, we've had this for a little while. But sorry, just to answer your question, yeah, maybe we'll go with an actual live on stage show. Maybe we'll continue this with a different brand. But I think we want the show to live on past the pandemic.
Absolutely. You're on to something, that's for sure. And I understand the name is changing. Have you guys decided on your new name yet?
That is
not yet. That's a very hot topic. We've decided to involve our audience in that. We think that's important. So we put up polls yesterday, picking between names that we were all considering, and the 4 names that we had settled on as potential names for the show had come out of that group chat Jamie mentioned with our most dedicated fans. So they were all brainstorming with us over cool creative ideas for what we can call the show to move forward and be a less gendered name and more progressive. And, you know, we have some ideas for how the show can evolve. So we wanted to change the name for that reason as well. But we farmed it out to the audience. And I know Jimmy and I each had a personal favorite in the 4 options we put out there, and I don't think it won. So we'll see what we have to do about that. But we wanted to, really give that audience control over something that they're enjoying during, these times. So we felt that was the right move.
Brilliant. Ed, do you have any other questions that you want
to? Before we let you guys go, I'm curious, live broadcasting, have you started doing that with either Instagram or Facebook, or do you have plans with that? Because I'm all about live broadcasting, so I had to ask that.
Tyler could probably answer that.
Sure. We've tried to. Short answer is we really wanted to leverage Instagram Live to do a lot more, but we found a major hiccup there is that it's very difficult to download the footage from the Instagram Live and save it somewhere permanently on our page. So we wound up doing this whole hour-long Q&A session with everyone from the first season, audience participation. It was great. And it disappeared in 24 hours. And the copy we were able to save was like super low quality because it was a screen recording.
Yeah.
So we've, at the moment, just stuck to Zoom, but hopefully if a tool pops out that we learn quickly, we might be able to take advantage of something more in the moment.
Yes. Good. I'm glad to hear that. And Facebook Live. I'll just leave you guys with that. Use Facebook Live. That is going to be a key tool for
The
it.
other thing I wanted to point out, besides that, sorry, I'm having a bit of a monologue here.
Yeah.
As you talked a lot about the marketing of the page, and I think something that's been really important, or something that we have noticed in marketing the page, is what is our conversion the best? So I think we get traffic at different times, and like starting to realize when that traffic is, and when, if we can align that to like having the content that is most engaging when that traffic is arriving, I think that is what's like funneling our growth. So it's like not just creating good content, but making sure you have good content when you're getting new traffic. It's like been super important for us.
So tell us what the Instagram handle is so everyone can go check you out and start following you.
Sure. Our Instagram handle right now is @quarantinedbachelor. Subject to change soon, but that's what it is right now. So you can find us.
You got to follow these guys because they're on an incredible journey and they're having fun while they're doing it, which is so key in anything that you decide to do. So enjoy, and I hope that you make lots of happy romantic relationships happen in this world.
And